What is up, everybody? We are ready to go, getting our ducks in a line here for the Open today, July 23rd, 2024, here at Policing Pips on Tradecaster on YouTube. Welcome back. We are very excited for the day ahead. Like I mentioned in the little quick introduction there in the chat, we are opening basically on VWAP, so kind of away from my strategy here. I am going to be patient today. Yesterday we made our money in 1 minute and kind of closed the door, locked it up. But today it doesn't look like we're going to get that entry right off the jump. We do have S&Ps kind of holding this uptrend that has been since, I don't know, the weekend. But we have held it. We tried to breach it, I guess, last night, 2 a.m., recovered it and kind of rotated back out. I want to see if we can get to hold this, maybe rotate up into 56.18, 56.20, fail that, start to rotate down, then breach this. Should get our overnight high, previous day high kind of tagged in the NQs. We don't have a ton of data today, so there's not going to be a lot of information, being pumped out there, except for if we get some breaking news or something as the day goes on. So really right now, the calendar doesn't show anything for Tuesday. Like I said, existing home sales, not going to be a mover for me. I don't think that's going to be very much of an algo mover. I think we're just going to kind of be just held to our own devices today. Tesla reports after the bell, so does Google. So we will see maybe some positioning in Tesla and Google. Tesla currently, peeling back from the highs in the pre-market, but I could see it maybe being a little bit of a muted day up into earnings. And then Google also has been flat since yesterday around noon, has stuck in the same little range, gapped up to 183 on the pre-market, and then just melted right down, back down to 181. It's kind of just lingering in there. So still going to stick to my NVIDIA information, use that to my advantage, and we're going to use that moving forward for the rest of the day. We are open. Let's see what happens. Not a very big opening range like yesterday we had, where it was super whippy. So I am going to give this one, actually draw it up. Hope everybody had a good day yesterday. I know I did. As far as trading is concerned, we made our money in 1 minute and kind of was ready to go for the rest of the day to do whatever we needed to do. Continue to stay on the rest of the stream as we should. Till 11, we made a little bit of money on the 100K. So we are still in that green. We could kind of just show the 100K up $50. Yesterday we made just over 400 on each 50K. So overall, nice and up and to the right here on the P&L curve. Still has the green streak alive, and we're going to try and continue that today with just waiting for our levels to come into play. So I'm going to get this view out back to where it should be. Okay. View up. If you are having Top Step X issues with view up, if you have it, just zoom out as far as you can. It'll get you that extended view. This here is going to be the opening range, which we are now breaking pretty easily. Straight downside so far. There's that 1 minute opening range for us. And we'll do that on the S&Ps as well. This kind of just helps me keep an eye on everything. Yesterday it was such a wide opening range, I didn't find like it mattered. Also, I pretty much executed on it. So I was done after that. I didn't really need to mark it up because I didn't really care where we were in relation to the opening range, right? The same deal here, 1 minute opening range. Okay. So now we have that extended out. We are cracking that trend line once again right here, right now in that S&P. We're holding below the opening range, but still for me, it's not like I'm taking an opening range trade. It's just something I like to note as far as bearish and bullish is concerned. Going through the day, kind of keeping my eyes on it. We will hope to get to one of these levels somewhat quickly. Excuse me. Somewhat quickly, try to get through, get out of this middle chop. I don't like to execute in this middle area anyway, so it's not a big deal. Usually, like I said, my targets are VWAP. I like the way this kind of flushes this opening range, gets back above VWAP, potentially looking to rotate back to that overnight high, which is up into that upper band of VWAP. A lot of confluence up there. It's the just above the value area. So let's see what happens with it. Russell looks like it's dancing around here. For some reason, my opening range isn't on there anymore. Usually takes a few minutes, I guess, to populate on the smaller charts. It's all good. All good. Nice little sweep of the low. Looking to break back above it. S&P is still holding that uptrend. Like I said, I want to see if it can pop up into that 56.18, 56.20, and then we could do what we do around our levels, right? Look for that rejection of the overnight high. Look for or a breakout. If you're going to play breakouts, that's up to you. Whatever you do around those key levels. I am a failed breakout trader on a day like today where there's a lack of news, there's a lack of data releases. I don't see, big continuation. I did mention that up into 20,100 isn't out of the realm of possibility for the week, especially, that could be a really nice area for shorts to start getting involved to flush us through that gap. So that's the only reason I think that that's a good area. It's psychological. If we do push up into 20,178, that's another breakout point that was above. So just some things to keep in mind as you look at the upside potential through those levels. I think you get through those levels, then the bulls really take control. But today, I think for now, we're kind of just waiting to see who's going to take control. It's a early in the week waiting period. Lots of if you read the write up, it's pinned to the top of the chat in YouTube. It's in our Tradecaster lobby in the alerts as well. So if you are interested in that, check it out. But we did mention early in the week, low data points. We do have NVIDIA. We have Tesla and Google both reporting after the market after hours today. So both of them are kind of just lingering around their opening price. NVIDIA is trying to breach yesterday's high already. So we're looking to see if NVIDIA breaks above yesterday's high, which it looks like it's trying to do right now at 124.07. So pretty much ticked that high and is rejecting it. A good push up into 125 could give us that, conviction that we get up over the overnight high. Who knows if we keep it or not. This is yesterday's high. There's a lot of liquidity between these two. So if we do get into that 20,020, 20,040, I would look to see if that's going to start to initiate the selling, because we are heavy here in the S&Ps relative to the NASDAQ here. 77% long does give us some heaviness. If you are looking at that, the delta is already pushing down pretty nicely. Overall, just a holding pattern here. We're dead center of the opening range in the NQ, leading higher than the S&Ps, which is now already below the opening range, or holding below the opening range. I feel like the NQ is leading it upside a bit, with NVIDIA showing some strength. S&P's trying to hold VWAP. There's not a lot of conviction to the downside currently. Russell's dead center of the opening range as well. So everything's kind of stuck right there at that opening range. Some people use the 15 minutes. I'm using the 1. I use the 1 just to give me a general consensus from where we opened. And then that's where all the whippiness happens, and then it kind of starts to settle in and you start to get cleaner moves after that. Some people use the 5, the 15, the 30 as far as their range. For me, I'm using the 1. So just note that. That's why I have it written in there, 1 minute opening range. Want this up over that overnight high so we can start looking for our setups, which is, I don't want it to get there too strongly. That's concerning, right? 83% long. That would be nice if it gets up there. But at that tilt, I don't know if we're going to get to the high. So right now we're only trading the 250Ks, copy trading across 2 accounts. So that's what you'll see for these trades here. If I switch over to the 100K at all, I'll let you know. But we're trading those 2 accounts separately. The three right now separately. Kind of just building them one piece at a time. NVIDIA broke the high of yesterday, looking to push up. Like I said, I think 125.34, 125 even. It does have a little bit of a gap down from last Wednesday, from 126 down to 125.50, 125.34. So let's see. I would like this to get up to get down. That's really what we need to do. And then not only do we need it to get here, we need it to get here and fail, show us some reasons to short. Don't just short it just because. That tilt is already very helpful. If it stays heavy long up into that level, then perfect. If we start to get some delta heaviness, that'd be great too. But I need that to pop a little bit further. Get up over that 20,000 is such a psychological number that if we push up over it, it could just kind of squeeze pop and run. So just be mindful of that. I don't want to front run my level. I feel like it's going to short throw through 20,000 than it is beforehand. But I'm going to stick to my levels, let them get there, let them fail, let them get over it. What will help our timing is if this gets up over here and gets into that 30s, maybe even to the previous day highs, and S&Ps could get to 56.18. That helps the timing. I think that'll help us. I'm not going to take this short right here yet. It's still pretty strong. 81% on the tilt is good for us, but you can see delta pushing straight on up. Good strong buying pressure right through that high there. I need this S&Ps to get to 56.18. Then that's when I want to consider the short, because I want to wait for the rejection on that. Get up over that. I waited for the S&Ps to get up to help my timing. That's really all I'm doing. Could this be, the short right off the jump? It could, but I think we got to wait. I think today is a wait and see if it's going to break out or not. This is how I do it. This is how I wait. This is how I'm more patient. S&Ps 56.18.50. I need to see if it's going to reject this level or not. S&Ps are very reactive to levels. So if it's going to squeeze through and get through 20, then this is going to continue on up to previous day highs. I don't want to be involved in a short if it's going to just keep running me over, right? So it's part of my strategy is to let that thing settle. We did tick down a little bit in the tilt, so potential continuation does still play. Delta's still pretty strong. We don't have huge orders. We're flashing just the normal algo orders within that standard little 10 points away from where we're at. But nothing that I see that's, big size sitting on the book. Now we're selling, of course, because there we go. Give me up over that, wick that. That'd be great. This is helping our timing here. You can see how we're dancing around with our level. You're getting some wicks. You're getting some rejection from that overnight high. 20,000 is still holding, right? So that's strong. NVIDIA is rolling over pretty good. Came right back to the breakout point and now is trying to see if it's going to bounce or hold or accept back below. So let's see if we get back up over that overnight high one more time. Give me that good setup. 69% on the tilt. Kind of eased that tilt for me to think that the continuation is still more likely than not. So I want to time this correctly. I don't want to just to execute. I'm pretty much all about timing. There is a bigger order now coming and going from 18, 19, 20, 20 level. 23. So it's moving away. It's trying to draw price up, looks like. Let S&Ps get up there as well. If we could break above this overnight high, it seems like it's going to hold. See what happens with 56.18.50 to kind of give you your timing. NVIDIA is still just creeping downside, which is kind of holding this back as well, which is good for the strategy, but also I need it to fake out some people long before it goes short. I need that manipulation. I want it to break the high of this candle. That'd be even better. Get that manipulation. You get this little rising wedge. This is where I like it. S&P is approaching the level. I need to get it above that previous high. Potentially, that'd be great. I don't want to get ticked in just below the overnight high, so I'm just below it here. S&P's pretty much got to the level, so you know what? I'm gonna creep up a little bit. I would like to get it through that. So now we've cleared that high out, 77% long on the tilt. Delta is pretty much working this confidently to the upside. So let's see if this now breaks and fails. That 30 level got tagged. S&P is now rejecting 56.18. So this is going to be the area where we're going to have to make a decision. Is this going to come down, fail this overnight high, or is it going to continue on up to the previous day high and do the same thing up there? So this is where I'm going to get involved. If it does just flush here, you can see that immediate rejection on the S&Ps. I just want to see if this will flush the overnight high and get back down. Come on, get back down to that VWAP potentially. Hopefully pretty quickly. I like the way the heaviness is in the S&Ps. I don't like that NVIDIA is looking like it wants to pop a little bit. This should fail this overnight high, and then I'll get involved, and then we'll see where it goes. 80% long on the tilt. Delta creeping downside. I think the idea, that's good there. Nice short off the 30s. I like that you front run it. I am waiting for confirmation to break through the overnight high, and that's just my setup. I like that blow off top type idea, and I think that 30 short was perfect for you, especially because I seem like I'm failing now on my, if you front run it up here, you're safe, and I'm out on that quick loss there. I'm gonna wait to see. That was the right call, I think. I think we're gonna still wait to short that. Nice little pop on the S&Ps. I'll take one more shot at it if it does go. It's got a breach through here. Sometimes I get wicked out, and that's okay. Delta's getting heavy. I'm short again. This time I'm going to have to be quick to my break evens because I need to mitigate this loss. There we go. Quick to break even on it. If it goes, it goes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. There we go. Nice little short there. Quick move. I'll grab myself that there and see if I can get that flush to get going now to the downside. Let's get heavy here. Let's get heavy. Come on now, get to the downside. Beautiful, beautiful move there. See that? Sometimes you get wicked out on it, and then the actual move will come into play. So there we go. We got a quick little red to green on that. My stop was just one tick too close. Should be up, nice little move there. But I was about to move that just over this little wick here, and I didn't. So I got wicked out, wicked back in, and now I am flat. Now I'm going to wait and see a little bit because that move kind of just slowed down really fast right there with everything going on. Maybe I get one more manipulative candle up into the previous day high, and I'm going to just keep hammering the short through the overnight high and see what happens with it. Yeah, that's just the play for me. Leezy, I'm glad you took that short from the 30. If you did, that 20,000 is obviously the line in the sand at this point, so it may manipulate around here. Be careful. If it continues to flush, 20,000 should be safe, but if it's going to rotate back, it's going to kind of play with that 20,000 level a lot. So, that's 30 quick points that you're able to catch. Hopefully you were able to catch at least 30 of them, maybe even more. I got just ticked out on that first one. That's good. That's good. Preserve that mental capital. That's all right. 12 points is still 12 points, baby. You could always catch 12 points here, 12 points there, make your money. We went, technically, I would call this like a break-even trade for me, since I got wicked out, then took my little $29. The first trade was my first loser was 205. My first winner was 240. So basically right there at that 1-to-1. Tilt has settled down to 67%. So if we start to accept and hold back above the overnight high, then this potentially does lead to that. We do have a delta divergence, and Russell is crushing to the upside. So maybe flows out of mega caps again and back into small caps. See if we can get up over that. Hell yeah, baby. I love it. Good job there, Leezy. I want to see what happens with the S&Ps. I can't be shorting this when the S&Ps is breaking and holding above that. NVIDIA is giving long wicking tails to the downside. Sorry for the little bit of a throat clearing. Yeah, that's pretty much what the strategy calls for is, look for that failure, look for that failed breakout, and then trail it out as it comes to you, because there's a good chance that you get some sort of pop like this. If S&Ps can get down below here again, I'm going to go short one more time through this level just to kind of get one more catch of it before it thinks about going up higher or not. So if 20,000 will be a really key important level if this breaches. If this doesn't breach, then we're going to be holding. We have a delta divergence or a nice clean delta short, heavy on the tilt 80%. So the short idea still plays for me. Kind of trap some longs there or trap me short, either one. Kind of playing with this level here back and forth. Should I get above this stop like I didn't before? I'm going to do that. It's only $20 more, so it's fine to risk that little bit extra to try and get this thing to flush to the bottom. Right, I have to take this trade. Everything's set up the way I wanted it to. So if I stop out, I stop out. So be it. But for the most part, this set up for me to be a short idea based on that heavy tilt, based on the delta, based on the setup, the double top here. But it's kind of not. It's not playing where I want it to play. So I'm gonna hold it. I'm gonna let it do its thing. I want it to get to 20,000. That'd be nice. There. I'm at even. Free trade. It looks like it really wants to get heavy. Get through 20,000. There's 20,000. Let's see if it cracks through 20. If it can crack 20, then it runs. If it holds 20, then it pops to the high side. I'll take my 215 and run, baby. Thank you so much for the $200, Mr. Market. Thank you so much for the $200. I'll take that every day of the week. It's going to keep going, but I'm going to keep doing the same thing as I always do and not get greedy, because it could easily rotate right off of here, pop off 20,000 and run to the high side. If it melts off to the bottom, it melts off to the bottom. If you're really good at holding risk, if you were maybe up a little more, then maybe you can, take that free risk. If I was up 240 on that trade beforehand, I took it again. If I was at break even, then I let this thing breathe a little bit more. But I'm going to take my base hit, because that 20,000 level is very whippy, very manipulative. There was a good chance that I get whipped out, whipped back in. NASDAQ's NASDAQ, right? You got to be able to time it. I liked the timing on it on that time through as well. But I'll take my 200 and run. That's another green day for the week, because we're not going to overtrade this one too much. We're going to see what happens with it. I may switch over to the 100K to just see if I catch another breakdown on it. But that's another, just hammering the short, looking for the idea, waiting for the level, right? Technically, I feel like I maybe should be up a little bit more just because I didn't learn my lesson. I mean, I learned my lesson. It's all about a little bit of adaptation, right? Is it worth that extra $50 of risk? Absolutely, to be up over this candle, right? Well done, Carlos. I love to see you green, baby. That's good. I love it. Green days are great days. And I'm already green here, and it's not even 9 o'clock. I've hit at least my minimum profit target on the day. So we're going to kind of settle down a little bit. My stops are very tight when it comes to the NQ, probably tighter than they should be, with the buffer that I have. I don't want to lose more. I don't want to get even slipped to losing more than I want to lose, right? So if there's some sort of wicked candle that kind of runs through me, I want to be close enough where at least, even if I do get some slippage, I'm going to get it and, be safe on my my risk there. So I risk $200 per trade, try to mitigate my loss as quickly as possible. If I risk $250, which I probably should have on this one, just because I was right at the top of this tick, I really should have been a few ticks up, probably up here in that 25 area. Would have never got stopped out on that first move and been just fine. Could have hammered it again twice and been up double, even triple. But it's okay. I mean, we would never got stopped out here, so we probably would have just been up double, probably around 400 or 500 on that, just on those two. And then maybe since we were up, we could have held this one a little bit longer. But you can see that manipulation around 20,000 is going to be difficult to hold through because of that area being such a key level for maybe longs to get involved. Look at you, Scotty. Another good day. You got to be close. What, 53, 54, less than $2,000 away from passing those 100Ks? That's what we do here. We just show you how you can pass accounts, simple moves, waiting for confirmation, right? I said up here, we don't want to short this yet. We don't want to short this yet. We don't want to short this yet. You didn't want to play with this. Just because it got to the level doesn't mean that you can just hammer into this, because it wasn't ready. Why? The S&Ps were all the way back here. They were away from their overnight high. Allow each of these indexes that kind of work together. I know a lot of people, if you go over to even the Top Step right now, I think Rips is on there. He trades the S&P levels by trading the NASDAQ, right? So he'll watch the S&P and then trade the NASDAQ off the S&P, which is great. I mean, I kind of just did that now, right? We waited for this manipulation up to 30. Well, like I said, probably right up to 30, which we got. Leezy caught that short there, which is awesome, from 30 down. I waited for the S&Ps to get to that overnight high level, that 56.18 level, breach it and fail. Then you get the failure here perfectly, take little heat on it. Obviously, I got stopped out by a tick because of just poor management on that, but I just risked my normal risk. It kind of just happens. And you can see here, so we shouldn't have too much of a regret. If you were going to trail the 20,000, you'd be out now anyway. If you were at even, you'd be out now anyway. So securing the money as it comes to you, especially in the NASDAQ, especially in a summer rangy bound type day, take your money, trail your stops, do what you got to do. And if you can see Scott making, $1,100 across two accounts, that's all it takes. Nothing huge, nothing crazy, right? And then as you start to scale your account, as you start to build a buffer, if you want to risk, if you can now risk instead of 200 on a trade, you could risk 400, add a contract. Now your profit doubles. And then that's when you start to scale and build and scale and build. And the only way you're going to be able to do that is if you do it consistently, day in and day out, waiting for your setups to come into play. It would definitely be cooler, but it's still cool, Scotty. We're $30 off building our buffer right to that $2,000 mark on these accounts. You can see nice little profit curve up and to the right. We have been green every day on live stream here this month. Hopefully everybody's following along, playing along as well. Like I said, small green, big green, everywhere in between. We've been green every single day since I've been able to come back on stream since the hurricane. So the only negative day has been the day that I broke my rules, didn't stream, shouldn't have traded, and I still limited my loss to something smaller, avoided that tilt, avoided that back-breaking loser, because you know that you're going to have days like last Monday, like yesterday, like today, where we can just come in, make our good trades, get out, and be done with it for the most part on this account, right? So I will lock this account out for those trades. I don't really want to execute any more on these accounts right this second. Yes, I could make more on them. I could switch over to the 100K and now execute on the 100K. But I want this to get up over and manipulate there. If it's going to fail from here, it's going to fail from here. So we're in the 100K. Oh, let me lock these out first. Bang, locked out. Thank you for playing, Mr. Market. Thanks for my $200+ of the day across two accounts. So, not even 30 minutes in the market, out of the market, done for the day. If that's your goal for the day, you hit it pretty quick and you move on and you go do something else. If you want to watch markets, you watch the markets, do what you got to do. But we are kind of setting up here. See what the S&Ps does. I got to get this VWAP is good. Cool. VWAP. The VWAP is cool here. I want to see if this will hold, maybe manipulate also, get up over 20 and then start to fail that 18 again. If we do that, then NQ can rotate. But now we're in that 100K account, trying to do some more damage to this. I'll sell one here. This is a 100K account. Looking to see if I can catch a little bit more on this through that 20,000 level. Give me a good flush. Should have shorted up here at the 15s, but it kind of got away from it a little bit. Accepted below. Now I'm looking for that flush of 20,000 this time. We do have those new home sales in a couple seconds, so if it whips me out, it whips me out. Nothing. Nothing, burger. Just a nice little whippy thing. Going to manipulate us out. I'm going to get out there at 285. Looks like. Unless it snaps down now. Yeah, we're going to get out on that. I didn't want to be involved in that at all. This 100K I kind of get a little bit sloppy with. So bear with me on the 100K. Willing to see if this will come back down through here. Can maybe get back up over that 30 again. I'll take another shot at this. Through that low at a better price now. Now that that number's settled down. S&P is still holding that high. If it breaks the high, then we probably should get out of this NQ idea, but we'll wait and see. See if we can get this 100K to break through that 20,000 mark, get down to that opening range, get down into, I'm going to leave this here at even and see if it'll go. I want 20,000 to just melt off of that level. Give me that. Give me that short through 20,000. Once again, 20,000 playing a big role here. There we go. Nice little flush of 20K. And I'm going to leave my stop just right there at 20,000. Just over 20,000. Let's see if we can get through this low. $9.90. Get through this low. Get down to VWAP maybe. And start to trail it down there. If S&P gives up the high here, then we should go. There we are. Nice little breakdown. Nice little breakdown. Going. Oh, yeah, baby. Let's go with this short. Come on now. Give it to me. Give me some more monies on this 100K here. Another beautiful short. I'm going to go right above here. All right, now we're approaching the high of the opening range. If we can break through VWAP, then I'm going to get to the high of the opening range, and then I'm going to start to see what I can do here with this to flush to the downside, see what kind of short we can get, see if that initiates some selling pressure. But we may get whipped out, but that's all right. Trying to get this so you can see everything. I'm safe still. Opening range high still holding. NVIDIA now melting off, which is great. S&P's now catching up. This short looks beautiful. 20,000 gave up, so I want to see this now through VWAP. We can get to VWAP. We'll get just over this wick. Looks like that's what I'm going to do anyway. I'm going to get over that wick and now see what happens with it. If we can get heavy through VWAP, let's go, baby. Come on now. Give it to me. Let's get it. Get down. Get through that opening range low. Never come back. Never come back. See, I target VWAP, so it's hard for me not to give this, but this is pretty heavy. I'm going to give it to the top of the body there. If it wicks me out, it wicks me out. I want to see if we can get to the opening range low. I know it's distracting with those letters there, so I'll move them over. These are the kinds of trades I need to catch to secure these bigger account moves. All right, we're out for up 500 on this 100K. I'll take that every time. So across the 3 accounts today, up nice and green. I do think that potentially the rotation keeps coming, but how do you not secure that money and run right there and not give any of it back? That's a really great trail for me. I'm going to go ahead and just sit on this now, locking this out. I don't know about you guys, but being done by 9:05, up 500 on one account, up 200 across 2 other accounts, just shy of $1,000 day once again. So just continue to build these accounts, continue to grow these accounts, let things, play out for you. We'll show you the 50K, the 100K. It's only 2 days old, and 2 green days back to back, trying to capitalize on that. That last trade netted us 785. I took that first one. No, you know what? I mean, I deserved the loss because I broke my 5 minutes to the hourly close rule. But it's okay. I'm going to note it. That loser should not have kind of played out. I should have never been down that. So I, could have netted, a couple $100 here, but executed according to plan after the fact, and then we were good. So another day of where I have a couple hours to kind of sit with you guys and chat about whatever you want. We'll kind of go through anything, but realistically, if I was not streaming, I would be now no longer on the computer, right? So that's how my days want to go. That's how I want you guys to come in, make your money, go enjoy your day, be about your business, and know that for a fact that you can come here every morning. And if there's an opportunity, I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to let you know, what levels are in play, what levels are kind of coming around, and hopefully that you can execute and make your money and be happy with what you're doing. So I'm very, very glad that we're able to do this day in and day out. I don't know about you, but that was basically a perfect bottom tick on that. That's why I use VWAP as targets. I want to go where the most obvious answer is, take my money to that area, and then get out, right? So I went just above here, gave it a little bit more, right? And then how you put physically your stop loss in Top Step. So Carlos, if you have Top Step X, I assume. If you are on my screen, let's see where we're at. I want to make sure you can see what I'm seeing. You can't really. Let me move this over a little so you can see it maybe. There? Okay. You can see it right here. Carlos, let me know that you can see my mouse over here next to this little gearbox on the left. Just type yes or no. Okay, so you're in Top Step X. You see the logo here says Top Step X in the top left corner of your screen. There's the chart box. There's the Trader Hub, Performance Stats. Then there's Settings. Click on Settings. Once you click Settings, you have to come into Risk Settings here. The second tab is Copy Trading, then Risk Settings. So click the second tab. Then you come over here to Position Risk and Profit Brackets. You have to set these and click the checkbox for automatically apply risk profit brackets to new position. I set my risk for 200, my profit for 2,000, and then I adjust it according to my trade. If you do this, as soon as your order executes, those stop loss and profits will appear on your chart. All right. And then you can drag them around. If you just have an entry, I believe, if you just have an entry, I can show you if, let's say you don't do the risk settings. I'm going to go into a 50K combine here and just show you. Let me know if you're watching on this. I don't want to do this on this combine, actually. I don't have a practice account, but let's say you clicked an order, you click it, and you say buy market, sell market, stop in, whatever, and you have no stops. If you click your entry and you drag that line up over, like I say, you're going short, or if you're going to go long right now, you can click the box and drag it down, and that will give you your stop loss. If you drag it towards your target, then that'll give you your profit target. Let me know if that helps. If you get it, if you need anything else, let me know. You're welcome, Abby. I appreciate you coming by again. Thanks for being here. We're live every day, always giving out some good nuggets of information. We took a couple good shots short here this morning across 3 different accounts, made 240 across 2 that we copy traded, and then on the 100K, we made a nice $500 trade. We made a $750 trade. I made a little boo-boo mistake right beforehand, but overall, very green on the day. It is a beautiful thing to just be able to lock out, be done, up just shy of $1,000 on the day. I'd say 250. So basically, yeah, just shy of 1,000 on the day. Basically minus fees. We had $1,000 morning here, and then it was, I guess, 5 minutes after, so just over 30 minutes, 35 minutes, you make $1,000, go on about your day and keep moving on. Just keep growing your accounts day in and day out. This is a long-term building. Stick to your plan over and over and over and over again, and then you can see when you're on this account here and you go to the performance stats, the more you do just base hit, you'll get a nice win, base hit, decent win, and then you start to build that account, and then as you build that buffer, you can start to add contracts, add a little bit of size just based on risk management, and that's when you can start to have those bigger days like Abby wants to have. It's just start out small, get used to executing, being okay with the base hits, be okay with the $140 day. Just because it doesn't qualify towards your payout day, technically, because it's not a $200 day, it doesn't mean you have to make $200. You can make 140, you can make 46. Green days are green days. They build your account, and then you get 1, 2, 3. Maybe we get 3 more green days here. Maybe we get 2 more green days that are over 200 the next 3 days, and you have another, you're qualified for a payout, right? So we're at that buffer zone right now that pretty much anything else that I make, I'm probably going to withdraw by the end of the week or next, start next week. And then we're just going to keep doing that. Everything over 2K, we're going to start to just build our buffer, take smaller little payouts here and there just to kind of maintain and just keep ourselves happy. And just every single day come in and execute how our plan works, right? And seems like it doesn't want to breach this overnight high. Never really got to yesterday's high. S&P is rolling over pretty hard here. So another attempt at it doesn't seem unreasonable. Sorry, my voice is going. Still didn't get another delta break. You got a little bit of a higher low, so not necessarily diverged quite as much as you would like. Alrighty, I'm getting that raspy voice today. This is my cool voice, smooth jazz. If you're on YouTube, hit the like button, subscribe, do all that fun stuff, help the algorithm. If you like what we do here, share it with your trading buddies, your friends, your family. I want to try and grow it as much as I can. The more I can grow it here, the more I can be on, and the more I can help out. Even though I'm not executing any trades anymore the rest of today, maybe I'll take a combine trade just to add to the funding. We have 1 active combine currently. We can only have 5 XFAs at once. Before they don't allow it. You could still bank some, so if you pass them and pay for them, and they can be in the background as, backups. But for me, I don't really care to do that right now. We have 3. We have 250Ks and 100K. So just trying our best to maximize our funding. I'm a little over halfway on this combine to get another 50K. So, trying to get as many as possible. Right now, we're just going to sit on our hands, let the market dance around a bit and answer any questions that anybody has. Maybe do a little quick little, I'm definitely short bias, Abby. I've been short bias for a long time. I find it easier for me to short, especially over these overnight high failures. They're great. I mean, if you did this every single time and had an appropriate stop, you would have if you just caught $200 each time, 200, we caught 750 on this one, 2, 4, 7, you're up $1,000 plus on just the same entry, 1, 2, 3, 4 times. 4 clean diverged moves, and it's helped by S&Ps. The only issue now is this is probably less likely to hold the breakdown, and the next break above, I think maybe will be the next push up, because you see S&Ps is holding now above their overnight high level, this 56.18. So if S&Ps can continue to hold this and start to try and make new highs, I think that the NQ, if it breaks the overnight high again, that next attempt at the short through is probably not as clean of a short idea, just because this is telling us a different story than this is telling us, right? I think, like I said, if you get above the overnight high again, you might be, if you're a breakout trader, maybe that's the time that you're looking for breakouts. Let's check up on Tesla. It has earnings today. Tesla has sold off immediately and has not looked back for the most part, has kind of crept into yesterday's, morning session range. Does have down to 246 as the low, as support. Google also has earnings after and has just kind of wedged out, it appears. It has gone nowhere. So potentially watch what happens the rest of the day on those. If you do play earnings, if you are somebody that likes to trade equity earnings plays. One thing I noted that AK mentioned about a lot of these earnings plays, for the most part, you're getting some of these earnings where good news is just melting the candle off, or bad news is pumping the stock. And he says mainly you could see the positioning as the day goes. If they report after hours, if it's selling off pretty much all day, no matter what the earnings are, it's probably going to sell off afterwards. And he can show it time and time and time again. So just note kind of what's going on in the environment of that stock during that session leading into their earnings play. And, not normally, even sometimes you think, okay, maybe they're selling into earnings to buy it up. It's very much a gamble when you do those earnings plays. So now watch this overnight high now. If we breach and hold over that 20 level, I think we go higher. No. Are you watching? Cheers. Alrighty. Thank you, babe. The water delivery. Alrighty. Watch this kind of accumulation here. If you see our short here that we took, that was pretty much the cleanest move to VWAP. We have not really came back into that VWAP area. NVIDIA has been kind of wedging out here, just slowly selling off. If it can pop up over 124, then you may get the squeeze in NQ at that time. S&P is still trying to make new highs on the day. So like I said, I think the short of this overnight high, you had it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. I think this 5th time through possibly could be your breakout point of that level. I think the shorts are I think it's hard to try and continue to hammer this short again, knowing that the S&Ps is looking to break highs of the day. So just be cautious if you are playing our short strategy there, to note that for yourself. I mean, we are still not making a new higher highs in Delta, but you didn't make a new low. So wait to see if there's a pop. Russell is cruising to the upside, which also could be holding this NQ back. This last week, we've been noting that the Russell, anytime it pumps, you start to get a fade on the other names. So with the Russell pumping the way it is, potentially as soon as it starts to give back any little bit, the flows may come into NASDAQ and S&Ps, which S&Ps is already trying to break high a day. So this break of the overnight high here potentially could give you that quick little long idea if you want it. I'm not going to take it, clearly. That's not my strategy. It's not what I do. I like the failed breakouts here. Still can't breach it though. So that's an indication that maybe there is still that big seller right there. Maybe there's somebody like me who just wants to short this zone every single time. Up overhead, there's a 50 lot at 30. So it should get magnetized up to that, at least that 30 level again. I think it's bigger than 30. It's 50 lots. I think we're going to get a little bit more push pressure now, cracking through that overnight high now, starting to get that pressure. NVIDIA is creeping right towards that 124 level. If it cracks 124, expect that squeeze. It is 70% long on the tilt, so a lot of retail is seeing the same thing, so maybe it goes the other way. Yeah, I mean, if you just kind of objectively look at it, right, just kind of being as logical as you can possibly be. I know the markets are a little bit illogical, but they do move with some semblance of structure. Obviously, that's why we're able to capitalize on moves. You would think if we breach this level that we continue higher. It is creeping up in the delta. I mean, the tilt is so heavy long that I don't trust the long yet either. Maybe it is one more rotation. Maybe it is one more full crack through. Although the delta is not getting heavy here either. I think that 30 level probably gets tagged if that 50 lot's still there. There's a 30 lot at 25. So yeah, we're still going. I mean, I'm not, like I said, I'm not a breakout trader, so I have a very hard time, timing these breakouts. But I think now is the time where you can start to build into longs, up into previous day highs, not out of like range. S&Ps, where was previous day highs? Were already over previous day highs. The overnight highs was over previous day highs. So S&Ps is giving a different indication than the NQ. That's why I would be hesitant on the failed breakout, right? So this is why you can take it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, and then not take it this time. So right there, right to 30, that larger size got filled there on the time and sales. All of it got filled. The magnet got pulled to it. So let's see if now it's going to squeeze up to that after that 50 lot gets filled. More size getting filled up overhead at 35. Now pushing up towards that 40. If this is timing, it's all about timing, right? Understanding that this is why we took it here. This is why we took it there. Good here. You could have even taken it there. I didn't. I locked out after this one. Now it's over. That seller is giving up. It's time for the upside to push. And that's how I execute on a day-to-day basis on understanding timing, understanding price dynamics, understanding good movement. And you can see on the time of sales over here, all those larger size orders getting filled up above, getting pressured to push this price going up higher. So you can see larger executions here, now giving you that push. Use the indexes to your advantage together. Pair them, right? Come on, man. What's up, American? How we doing, dude? Everything is good. Life is good, baby. Hope everything is good with you. Pretty much another day just like yesterday. Made pretty much exactly the same amount. Took a little longer than 1 minute, but I'll take it. I talked about this, how we could, we made money on pretty much every single short attempt here. I locked out before this one because I made what I needed to do and I wasn't trying to hammer it again. We then talked about how that short idea is probably done after this one. You did not make a lower low. You never approached VWAP. You never got to the opening range. You completely rotated right back over 20,000. S&Ps at the same time was holding its overnight highs. We're still over Friday's previous day highs, and it's giving you the indication that we're going to rotate here. NQ was the laggard there. Use the indicators. Use current price action to give you a good indication of timing your entries and being a little bit better at understanding why the shorts are going to work until they're not, right? And then, as I mentioned, that 30 level was a magnet. It was a magnet here, magnet there. I said it was going to magnetize here. And then previous day high, if that gives up, then watch out that 20,100 for that psychological level. I think maybe we run into some resistance at 20,068. So right here at 70, that's a good area right there. 68, 70, and then 100 if that's your play. If this is going to stay rotational, then this is going to be a failed break here, and then we'll rotate off of that. But that's, just a wait and see. NVIDIA is still trying to hold over 124. If it can do that, then it may want to rotate to high of day. Then you probably get into this range here. We have the tilt 77% long. It's a little heavy long for my liking for it to be a continuation. I think maybe we stay range bound. Russell is selling off from the highs. So at the moment, we're kind of acting in unison, which we have been a little bit diverged over the last week. So I have noted that. So just, sometimes they're acting together. Sometimes they're diverged. We got to just kind of wait and see which is which. Right now, off that upper band of VWAP and now heaviness coming in. Delta does show aggressive sellers from that level up above. So our levels are pretty spot on. If I were to have taken a breakout, which is usually, this is the only time I would have, is trying to rotate overnight high to previous day. If it's a little bit of a gap where I can catch 30 points on it, I'll take that every time and pretty much trail out right to previous day high. Now that we're trying to rotate back down through the overnight high, you swept the highs, could now be the next rotation down. NVIDIA failed to hold 124. Just watch it. See what price tells you. See if the S&Ps can breach through that 56.18. If they can, then that may accept this and help you trade your NQ and give you a little bit more conviction if you want to wait for confirmation. And that's kind of the way I think through things. That's how, if you want to get into my head a little bit, that's how I operate. That's what I think about. Excuse me. As I'm watching price action, right? You can see on my chart, this is it, right? For the most part, this is all I really need to execute my trades pretty consistently on a day-to-day basis. I do add that extra layer of the cumulative delta from Quant Tower. I do add that layer of this here on Quant Tower as well. It's basically like a book map. They call it a surface dome. I like it to show me where some of these larger size orders are sitting. I pay for market data in my personal brokerage, so that's how I get, this level 2 type action. So I can see, we got bigger size flashing down here. It's flashing, but it's not holding, so it's trying to maybe chase price up. There's lots of things that they do to manipulate price that you can kind of start to see when you start to get into the weeds a little bit. And it's not really anything that I do that I need. It just adds another layer of confidence in certain executions that I make. But in order to take the trades that I want to take, all I need is overnight high, overnight low, previous day high, previous day low. And then I just use VWAP as a target, and then consistently day in and day out, you'll see we're here, we're making money. If I just left this up over here, I'd be, another 200 and change richer. And then obviously I cheated on this one a little bit and then caught the real move. So overall, can't be mad at $1,000 day. Two little tiny mistakes that I adjusted. So I made the immediate adjustment on this one and kept my stop in a good location, got myself safe, and was able to properly manage my risk. So if you can recognize your small mistakes during the day, make those adjustments in that same trading session, capitalize on it as you move forward, and then you can go ahead and do this better and better and better and better and better. And then as you build on it, small mistakes, you fix those intraday, then you add that to your playbook tomorrow, and you don't make that small mistake again. Then you add to, you review your trades, you review what you did for that day, kind of go over it. Okay, fix a big mistake, don't do that again, throw that in the trash, and just kind of keep doing that day in and day out. And eventually it's just going to build your account, build your account, build your account. And then at some point you'll be like, wow, I'm up quite a bit, and just be pretty happy about it. But it's all about long-term success, right? compounding those gains over time. Yes, yes, sir. No, so you got a lower high here. The tilt has diminished, so you can see another, Delta kind of doing the same thing as price. If you do breach this low, you want to see Delta kind of also starting to get aggressive with the sellers. The point of control is all the way up here at that high at 20,000. That's a really odd spot for it to be, so high up in the value area. So you tend to rotate off of that to the other end of the value area if the point of control is so high up, unless it's going to move much higher and then create a more a better profile up above. Excuse me. I apologize for the weird voice. Just watching over at NVIDIA. Let's see what I want to see what Tesla's doing just for fun. Pretty much stopped right at 248, curling up a little bit. That's just below the pre-market low. Looks like it wants to hold below there. If it starts to creep up pre-earnings, then maybe you look to see if it'll squeeze on earnings. Google has just been it popped up and has just done nothing. It's kind of just lingering around that 183 mark. And NVIDIA is starting to rotate now again down through yesterday's high and into kind of like the value of pre-market. So it could rotate down and give you some selling pressure included with this here, right? Another good setup there. You have this lower high here, a breach of our level. You can manage risk here above this, short to VWAP, maybe to the opening range, maybe even deeper, maybe further if that goes. But you need to see other things lining up, like S&P still holding over that opening rate, that overnight high. So if it can start to push down and into this yellow line, maybe that's when you start to trail your stop, because hopefully it either breaks and then this continues down, or if it's going to bounce, then you can at least secure some of your profits and go. But as of right now, this is not something I'm trading currently. I just kind of wanted to note it, that that's something that you could be looking for if you did want to trade that idea. But this seems messy, right? If you're looking at it in this, chart, chop, 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 chop. But these are very clean moves around a key level that I was able to capitalize on, make my money, and get out, right? I was able to short this level 3 times. Could have done it a fourth, and I didn't, and even now potentially a 5th time through here. This 20,000 level is such a key line in the sand that if it does flush 20,000, again, maybe you get that nice heavy move to VWAP. But if it's going to hold 20,000, that rotation back up continues. NVIDIA is still looking pretty heavy. Hasn't breached the low yet, but it is trying to get through 123.50. Tilt is 50-50, so no conviction in a direction. Delta ran into a wall there. Made new low in price, did not make new low in Delta, starting to get aggressive in the buyer, so watch out for that. This aggressive buyer stepped up right at 20,000. So 20,000 still has buyers present. Do they give up, or do they hold strong and continue to try and keep it bidding, keep bidding it up, keep bidding it up, keep bidding it up? Russell made new highs of the day, so continuing to push upside. The S&Ps is trying to push up on a negative delta pressure, so maybe that's going to be a sign to rotate down. Like I said, rotations into Russell when it's strong tend to lead to selling in the NQ this week at least. So maybe that's going to give up. If the seller gives up here at 20,000, maybe this is the good breakdown. Let's see what happens with it. Nice little break of 20. You see if it gives you a quick 10 points down to 90. If not, that could be a quick manipulation. Another buyer stepping in and going. I didn't see any large size there. I mean, I got a couple orders here at 20,002, but nothing at or below 20,000 that's larger size. So kind of just a lower volume break of a key level. So it may just be a stronger push. Let's say you shorted the overnight high. You were pretty much safe on your risk. And now you could basically go to even and say if 20,000 gives up, I'm out at even, risk-free. If 20,000 gives up and we rotate down, then I'm safe to kind of hold this into VWAP. And then after VWAP, kind of use VWAP to make a decision. Is it going to hold it like it did before? or are we going to now breach VWAP? And if we do, watch that opening range low. And then if you get a flush of the opening range low, that usually gives you that good selling pressure. Or on the other end, if it's through the highs, it'll give you the buying pressure. Carlos, always a pleasure. I'll see you tomorrow. I'll be here again, 8:30 Central Time. Whatever, Argentinian time, 6:30 Argentina. And I will do this every single day that I possibly can. As my schedule, I apologize. Give me a second. As we have difference in my schedule, I always post it on my Instagram. So if something comes up, if I can't get on the charts, or if I have technical difficulties or anything, you can always follow me on Instagram at Policing Pips, and you'll get the schedule that I will be on or not. If I don't post anything, I'm going to be on. Most of the time, it'll just be like, hey, I'm not able to get on or whatever. But it's usually because I'm usually able to let you know ahead of time in the beginning of the week, knowing my schedule and all that stuff. So just go over there, get over to daytradingcoffeeco.com, click the link in YouTube. It's pinned to the top of the chat there. You can click that, check out the weekly write-up, kind of just my broad overview every week of what my market outlook is. You can click that and just get some good information on the week ahead. I do that every single Sunday night after work when I get home. I usually post it up sometime before midnight, depending on when I get out, Central Time. So you'll have it ready to go either Monday morning when you're up, or if you're up late on Sunday, check it out. It'll be up every week. I share that also on Instagram. So if you can't find it in the chats, if you get off of here and you can't find it, it's always pinned to the top of my Instagram as well. So you can go take a look. While you're over there, go check out the coffee. It's some of the best I've ever had, and I am a coffee snob, right? I wouldn't sell anything that I don't approve of. So, we are looking to grow the company organically through this trading world, through streaming, through all that stuff. And then as we grow our profits, we're going to start giving that funding fund out to deserving traders, give back to the trading community, continue to do giveaways and stuff like that. But the funding fund is like one of the main components to my idea of, a percentage of profits, getting people that can't quite get into a funding environment. Maybe they need another, combine, or maybe they need, as it gets bigger, we are partnering with Lightspeed, maybe give some cash accounts out as well. So, lots of plans for the coffee company. Just wanted to kind of throw that out there while I'm not executing any trades, and while you're kind of lingering in this chop around that 20,000 level, seeing if it's going to give up or if it's going to hold one more time. Obviously, you can see S&P's right on top of the overnight high. If it can crack and break, then maybe 20,000 gives up at that point. NVIDIA looking to get heavy. Just tried to break through this little wedge that we got going on here to the downside. So, this is just very sideways, flat price action. Kind of anticipated, sort of what I wrote up in my weekly write-up. If you understand kind of how markets work with data, especially with all the algos out there, the algos are headline driven, they're data driven, and then, also intraday, they get turned on and off based on certain macro events and whatnot. So understanding that if there's a limited amount of macro events or, microeconomic, little tweaks, that's when you're going to get bigger price action. You're going to get bigger, cleaner moves. So choppy days do tend to happen when there's not a ton of information. And, who's to say that this doesn't break out of here and just trend down all day or trend up the rest of the day? We don't know. But as we keep coming into levels, as we get to areas that are interesting to us, we have to watch and note what's going on with price and who's the player in the market today. And you have to realize that you are trading against other people. You are mainly trading you versus you, right? Understanding what you're seeing, executing, managing your emotions and your risk. There's the break of VWAP. As I mentioned, if 20,000 gives up, then you're probably getting to VWAP. Then you got to watch the low of the opening range. If that gives up, then overnight lows come into play. So watch it. See if VWAP is going to hold again, right? VWAP held here. VWAP could hold here, but it looks like it wants to get down through it. especially because S&P's isn't quite at VWAP yet. Maybe S&P's wants to get to VWAP as well, which could push us lower through this level here. Could I make more money if I don't lock out every day? I could. Do I need to? I mean, of course, everybody needs more. There's never not more, but it avoids that greed. It avoids that trading stuff that isn't quite there at a point of the day that I don't need to be, doing more, right? If I hit the buttons that I want to hit, if I execute them and I do my plan, according to every single day's price action, I'll make my money quick and then I will go on about my day not feeling the FOMO. And if I lose my money, right, I lose my dedicated loss amount of $500 on each account, then I just go move on and go about my day. And same deal, because I know I'm limiting my risk, limiting my my losers to being smaller than my bigger days, and then I can cancel out those losers. Like right here, it's pretty much I made my full losing day in one trade. So, I haven't had a losing day on this account, but I'm saying if I limit my losses to 500 on these accounts, then there's a good way to do it. If you have Top Step, your personal daily loss limit, you can always go into it, type in 500 and PDLL, it will liquidate and block, and you can save that, right? So now you have that up there. If it hits that $500 mark, you're going to get liquidated, and then you're not going to be able to execute any more trades, and then you're done. So now you can't go on tilt. You can't go into FOMO and burn the whole account. You have actively set something into motion that's going to keep you in your account long term and stop you from blowing it up, because the only days that you have that are really a detriment are those large losing days. You can weather the storm through the small losers, right? Even on my other account, if we go over to Performance Center and you check out day one, small loser, then day two got it back, 3, and then just green since. Every day on stream, as I mentioned, just consistent straight green every day. So we're trying to end July just on a nice little winning streak here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I mentioned yesterday, if you weren't on stream, if you haven't been here, I did not execute the 16th and the 17th because I was at training, and I mentioned that I was going to training early in the week. It's in the write-up. I have a whole schedule. I consider not executing on those days as green days for myself, for my trading plan. You need to be able to say, I'm not going to trade today, and then not trade. Don't feel the urge to go click a button because something happened or you see price action moving or whatever. If you're not at your setup, if you're not ready to go, if you don't have a plan for that day to do something, by staying flat those days, you did not lose money like you did on the day that you should not have been on the chart, right? So if you stick to your plan, I'm going to consider these green days because I stuck to my plan. I was happy to kind of come in here and say, if I can add a journal entry, I can say, had training at work, did not execute according to my plan. Consider this a green day for sticking to the plan. Boom. Save that journal, bang. And then I'll do the same thing on this one, add a journal entry. Top Step X is growing ever so slightly every single week, every single day. They're through the thick and thin. I think a lot of people complain about some of the little things that happen here and there, but they're building a platform that is all encompassing, that you don't need to go everywhere. And it's going to be all one thing, right? In your Performance Center, you have all the stats that you can need as a retail trader to understand your trading, understand what you're doing, and kind of keep good track of it, right? All right, I have a 66% winning percentage. I probably am a little bit better than that. Some of the days, like that, if I think I'm better than that. I want that normally up in that 70% 75%, creeping closer to the 80s. Your daily winning percentage this is wrong because I don't know why. Oh, this is today's win percentage. I get it. Okay. I've made 2 wins, 1 loss, and I'm up 240, right? Profit factor is 2.23 to 1. That's your total profits divided by your total losses. So you're 2 to 1 there. And then your best day percentage of your profits, you have your most active day, which is a Tuesday. Most profitable day is a Monday. Least profitable day is Tuesday. Not necessarily now. It's just the day that you had the lowest profit. And over the course of these days, I didn't overtrade. I have 30 trades over the course of all these days. So not a ton of trades. Average winner is bigger than the average loser. The best trade is at least 3 times bigger than our biggest loser. And this was an oversized loser. Should not have lost 290 on that trade. So just understanding that was a little bit bigger than I want it to be and not allowing that to happen again. And that happened on 7-9. I think that was some slippage as well. I think that was that day that I actually had losers. So there you go. You can journal in here. You can type up what you want to type. You can see what you want to see. You can add notes. You have you could download your trading report if you wanted to upload it into something else. There's a lot of different things that you can do. But overall, like I said, over 2 accounts, we're up just shy of 2,000 across these accounts by just taking our base hits. Take your base hits. Take your base hits. You can pass a combine just like this. Simple base hits. Yes, I have 1 or 2 bigger days, but those days come because we're executing the same plan over and over and over and over again. Right? Here's that flush of that opening range. Now let's see if it can give it up or not. The fact that so this is basically considered a failed breakout. This is where I was mentioning right here, this lower high attempt at a break of a high day, and you're starting to creep down in the S&Ps, which in turn is going to give you the help to break this NQ down. I mentioned that if you did short this, you were safe to kind of be in here until 20,000, see what happens around that 20,000. Obviously, first flush, retest, and then now you're breaking down again. So really this looks more like this. Like as things kind of present themselves, you have to kind of adjust what you're seeing. All right, I have lower high, lower high, lower high, lower low, lower low, lower low, making that turn into a bearish sentiment. What's Delta doing? Another same deal, lower low, lower low, lower low. So Delta's acting aggressive sellers coming into play, never quite breaching that previous high. You're getting the aggressive selling to come in now through that opening range low. Could be making some money here if you took that short from the high again. So really continues to sell. The selling pressure from that high never, you cleaned up previous day highs and just said, nope, we're not doing this. We're not accepting above here. So now we're giving that rotation to the downside a try. So that's kind of where we're at right now. See what happens with this crack. See if this is going to be the break of this right here, this trend line, this shorter term trend line. If we can break through here, this is a confluence area. It's opening range low. It's the trend line here that's support. It's been support over the whole week. If this gives up right here at that moment, you could get an actual decent breakdown. Last time you broke down, you flushed, 95 to 95 points down. Could get it at least down 5 points. Probably can go from, 52.06 down to 52.02. And then if you crack that low, see if the selling continues to push pressure on it. I like seeing this. I like watching this through the morning. Plenty of opportunities to have made money today. If you made money and you locked out like I did, good on you. I'm glad. Don't feel the FOMO of, oh man, I shouldn't have locked out. I could have caught this move or that move or this move. It's okay. You don't have to catch everything. If you made money and you're green on the day, don't be greedy. Learn to accept what your plan is and just stick to it day to day and you'll be fine. For me, like I said, I could feel that FOMO, that greed coming in, but realistically, I feel fine to let the market do its thing. It's going to do stuff. No matter how much you want to do it, it's going to do stuff all day, especially the indexes, right? These futures are trade 23 hours a day. They're going to do stuff all day. Just because it moves doesn't mean you have a trade. And even if you could have had a trade there and you're already up to a point where you're like, all right, I'm good with how I made my money on the day. I executed my plan. The way price action kind of played around, kind of didn't seem like anything bigger was coming. Something big already has shown its hand here. So now, yeah, maybe you missed it, but who cares? You're green, you're profitable on the day. You made almost pretty much $1,000 across your accounts. Can't be mad about it. Just move on. Less greedy. You wanted to take shorts and held off for the most part. You're at 13, 14 times 2. Lock out on that. I mean, you're still in a combine, so no matter what, you still have to do another day. I mean, you're close to passing. You could technically make another 2 more good trades. I know you want to pass today, but you could technically, but you're now away from your idea of your short idea. Maybe you could short here, but this could just be another rotation, sweep of the opening range low, rotate back to highs, right? S&P's just held support one more time. Again, you could see clearly that 5606 held. So now what is it going to do? Is it going to rotate up, or are we just going to hold support here, kind of linger around, do some of this choppiness? Like, what opportunities do you see for yourself? What does your strategy tell you to do? And then let your strategy dictate if you're going to lock yourself out and then just wait for tomorrow. Or maybe instead of sitting at the computer the whole time, if your strategy then calls for longs at the overnight low, set an alert for 19,880, and if price activates the alert, now you can come back to the computer, say, okay, I'm going to go look and see if what happened to that price at that area, and then make a decision now that you're clear-headed. Is my setup there? Yes or no? It's not. All right, I'm going to lock out. That's it. Scott, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm glad you use MACD, but I have no idea about MACD. I don't even look at that kind of, that stuff. And I used to. MACD, moving averages. This is nice and heavy. There's a break of that level now. So now is that a confirmed breakdown? If it holds and it closes below here, I think you could get a good flush. No, I think there is a use for a lot of these indicators, but you have to stick to it. And you have to understand that sometimes it gives you false signals, and then kind of find a way to corroborate the information that you're seeing in that MACD or whatever indicator that you're using. And then don't add too many things. I think if you're using MACD confirmations across multiple time frames, and that's going to help confirm your timing on your shorts or your longs or whatever, then at least you could stick to that consistently day in and day out, and it can eliminate some of those short-term time frame false alarms. And then you can kind of just see around your areas, your levels, what it's doing, and then what kind of decision can you make from that level. So that's really kind of what it comes down to, is just understanding your specific thing like that. That's why I said, like, I like this chat. I like the way the dynamics of my room are, the stream and everything is, because I don't believe in that there is one strategy that's going to make you money. There's so many ways that you can understand these markets. I do it in a specific way that helps me, that keeps me limited in my scope of what I'm looking for, and kind of just maintains my personality. Some people are a lot better at just, instead of scalping this, they're a little bit longer term, and they say, I know, or not that they know, but according to their strategy, they can load into the short here and then have a stop up there. Every time it comes back, they just enter again, and then they'll start to come out. There's people that add and then shed on the way down, and there's people that add to winners. There's people that cost average into zones. There's so many different ways. And in here, I like to talk about the other things and kind of give that whole, allowing you to make your decisions around the areas, but just kind of presenting my thoughts, and then you can confirm them with your strategy and your levels. If you're comfortable using it, use it. I think people do use it. I don't know how many futures people you follow. You know, if you're only in here, I don't use anything really except for that cumulative delta. That's like an indicator, I guess. And VWAP would be an indicator also, but no other like actual. I don't consider volume an indicator. I just consider it volume. It's just always on all my charts. Trades by Matt is popular, and there's always like rumors around some of those bigger like streamer type people, and I used to watch him a lot, and I used to see him lose a lot, and then all of a sudden he's got a lot of wins. I don't know. Some days he's up a lot, some days he's down a lot. It's hard to track his actual trading because I think he says he also streams and trades one way and then trades other accounts another way. If you only watch one or two people, there's a good chance that you only know what those one or two people do. I'm sure there's futures traders that use so many different things. Warrior Trading Guy is good as far as stocks and options and stuff. He, from what I've seen of what he does, he got sued for some stuff, that he said that kind of, I guess they consider manipulative. Overall, I think there's something you can take from everybody on YouTube, good or bad. I think you can just kind of break down. Abby said it best. Just try to learn from everyone. If you can just pick little things that you like, from me, pick a little thing that you like from what he says, like, oh, this is how this works when you get around his zone. They may have names for it, right? Even the ICT people, those people still, they have at least a structure. I don't know any of it, but at least they have a structure of what they're doing, and they have all these crazy names for it, and it might confuse you, and maybe that's not something you want to do, but maybe the whole idea of it and what they're kind of talking about may work for you. So it's kind of just future specific people. If you want, go over to Top Step TV, and you can watch them. They kind of are the company. They have futures traders that come on there all the time that are trading, other YouTube stuff. I would go over and you can watch Rips. Selling Rips is really, really good. Rips. Austin Silver is good at futures trading. Those two guys are two guys that are pretty consistent. Those are, they have very simple trading styles. Rips uses a lot of order flow stuff, so if you want to learn about that, I would watch him. He actually streams pre-market, so if you are on YouTube before I get on, if you look up Rips, Selling Rips, I think is his YouTube. He does like a pre-market stream, so you can watch him before I get on if you feel like doing that. You could always watch me. I do my best to kind of break down every little type of thing that I see. And especially here, it's, I'm done for the day, right? Now I have an hour. I may get off in 30 minutes unless we get into like some good conversation of where I need to kind of continue on. Like the other day I stayed on till 11:30 just talking mentality and don't do dumb shit. That's going to be the rally cry for this room. Don't do dumb shit. If you're up $1,000, lock it out. Win. Don't do dumb shit. Don't give it back. If you don't have some sort of strategy that tells you that you're supposed to be trading later, don't do dumb shit. If you want to be green in 1 minute, make $1,000 in a minute, or $800 in a minute. How can you go wrong by just locking out? I don't know. On MACD, 1 minute went green 3 minutes ago. See, I don't know what it means. I don't even know what it looks like. I don't even want to pull it up on my chart for you, Scott, because I don't like to get things messy. But I will look at it and see what happens with it. I've seen it. I've seen it all around. Like, no, I guess I know. I like to have people seeing what they say in here on. I know a lot of people that did that on the FX side too, FX and CFDs, the MACD and the RSI, and some of those things that kind of line up, and they do line up long term too. So like those longer term traders that are swing trading the FX stuff, they use some of those things. So it's definitely a good indicator. It's not that I haven't heard of them or I know what they are in general, but I don't use them. So if you mention it and I don't say something about it, it's just because I don't use it and I don't do that. I know Scrooge McBucks, who comes into the chat every once in a while, the Tradecaster. He uses some, moving average crossover stuff. Also likes indicators and stuff like that. I don't think indicators are a bad thing. I used to use a bunch of indicators, and then as I stripped them away, I started to really see price action just for what it was, and I started to really like the cleanness of a chart. I like to kind of just understand what I'm seeing in a broad scope, and then just adjust to what I think is being, the manipulations around it. Obviously, like I said, I use the delta just because it's pretty much real time active buyers and sellers, right? I use it to say, okay, there's not a really aggressive buyer here, so I don't think I want to buy right now. I want to wait on my timing. So I use it more for timing. If it's not perfect, I don't always, if I see a huge delta candle on a breakout, then I'm going to be more likely to say this is probably confirmed. I'm not going to sell it, right? But other than that, I'm not using it to be like, I have to do this because of that. And then I use the volume profile here to just show me where there's been large amounts of orders executed, because all price wants to do is be executed. That's all the market is a place for trades to happen. And then trades like to happen in areas where they're more frequent, right? Because more people like this level. More people like 20,000. You can see it's a very large candle here. There's a ton of executions there because it's psychological. So these candles will get drawn into these high volume nodes because that's just where price has been the most, right? So that's all it is. It's just keep it clean. The more you simplify it, the easier it is on your mind while you're sitting here looking at the charts, right? I do like that aspect of what you're doing, Scott. I want you guys, this is really what I want, because this is what I did, and it started to lead into my success, is once I stopped doing what other people said is the strategy, right? This is what you have to do to make money. Once I stopped falling into that trap, that's when I started to be way more consistent, because I just went with what I understood and what I knew, and I used little pieces that I picked up along the way from all these people, right? And I love that fact about this room. Like I said, again, with this room, this chat, I'm not giving you a strategy. I do. I basically show it every single day. I fade breakouts, right? That's pretty much what I do. If it's very simple to just say I fade breakouts, that's the very simplistic way of telling you my strategy. All I'm really showing you is that if you wait for your levels and areas that you're interested in, and instead of hammering into areas that are not part of your strategy, that you can be consistent over time. And if your strategy calls for MACD, RSI, and then add in my overnight high or my overnight low or my previous day high, and then also add in something that you like to do. I know Ray is in here most of the time. I don't know if he's listening or not, but he uses Fib extension or Fibonacci levels on one of his strategies, and it lines up really well with this strategy as well. So, there's a lot of confluences amongst strategies that you can come in here, get little pieces of information, and just because I'm short doesn't mean that your long might not work, right? It's a good key level. Maybe I'm short quick and then you're long through it, and we can both make money, right? So that's great. I love that we can at least add confidence to people in this room, and just, like I said, it's a small group that just consistently comes here every single day. And yes, we've grown over time, and I've had much larger viewership and much, right now we're kind of just averaging in the same area. But, like I said, over time, being consistent, coming in here a day in and day out, you're just going to learn a little bit here and there. And then someday it's just going to click where you're like, oh, this is what I like to do. This is what I can do. I know I can do it. I don't need to follow along. I just kind of hang out and have a conversation because I like the vibe of the room or whatever. And then, maybe some calls here and there are like, oh, I needed that extra layer of confidence to go and put that to the test, right? I got you, Doug. Always, Scott. No worries. This is good. I like it a lot. I like that it lines up with those things because it kind of helps confirm for me as well. Like just knowing that I know that it works for me, and then kind of like some of these other things that people want to add, it's nice to know that those things help. And nothing is every time, right? Yeah. Nothing is every time. And if it is every time, let me know because I want the 100% strategy. Everybody wants that 100% strategy. Let me know when that comes out. Big Deck is down 20K over the last 2 days. It happens, right? And that's weird that I just heard Rip say that you can't have 100% win rate. Everybody's talking about win rate right now. Yeah, if you figure it out, don't let everybody know, but please let me know. We don't want to let everybody know. Maybe just the people you like a lot. Yeah, let your peoples know. Keep it on the DL. We all start rolling around in gold-plated rolls. That's how you know you got the infinite money glitch. Right now, though, we have the consistent money glitch in that if we're consistent in our strategy, we should never blow up, and we should be able to be confident in knowing that we can come here every single day. I can see that you would want to here. I don't like to execute around VWAP because I know there's just so much congestion around VWAP for me. NVIDIA's getting heavy still, so short idea does make sense as far as NVIDIA is concerned. You do have a break of this little downtrend here. You swept the 1 minute opening range. The fact that we held above the opening range, and now you're above VWAP, that would be a sign for me to not short. For me personally, obviously, if this was at a key level, I just wouldn't because of the reasons I mentioned. Right, we're above VWAP, we're above the opening range, we're above this trend line break. NVIDIA, yes, is trying to make new lows, but it still hasn't made a new low yet. It's kind of holding up here, and if it does crack above this little wedge that it's doing, then it could give you another squeeze up. So I would be cautious on a short when you're holding over these key structure levels, if that makes sense. So if you use your MACD or your go down, looks like it wants to go back towards red. So yeah, you got to use that to be part of it, but look at price action. Watch what price is telling you as opposed to what the indicator is telling you, and then use the indicator to kind of give you a confirmation that you got to do. I got you, dude. If it can get a little sunny out, we're going to take the kids to the pool. We're going to go swimming today. Just shy of an hour left in the stream. I'm locked out. We're up just shy of $1,000 today. We have $240 across 2 accounts and then $500 on the 100K. There we are. A nice $499. So minus fees, we're up $1,000 minus fees on the day. I can't ever be mad about doing that. If I can do that consistently every single day, day in and day out. Obviously, you're not going to win every day. You don't have that 100% win rate. That's not a thing. Maybe winning days, but win rate as far as, trades are concerned. Limit those losers. Just come in, day out, and make your money and just move on. So, like I said, do what I'm doing here, these manual lockouts, you could see I'm not able to trade anymore today. I'm done. I locked out. I have cleared my mental capital for the rest of the day to go and do whatever my day is going to bring of me because I've gotten rid of that FOMO feeling of, there's moves happening. I can go make money. My plan is to trade in the morning from 8:30 to 11. If I make my money according to my strategy and I stick to my plan and I do it the right way, I lock out and I'm done for the day. If I'm still trading, it means I haven't quite got the opportunity that I think should set up at that time. And then I I'll stay on and continue to eyeball trades and all that stuff. But yeah, so you would have been wrong, and hopefully you heard what I said about why you would have been wrong. Kind of what I was mentioning is that opening range tends to like to hold, and if it sweeps it and holds above, it's a lot stronger. Plus you're on top of VWAP, plus you're approaching that, plus NVIDIA made a higher low, and then you got S&Ps also holding above. I think the biggest takeaway that a lot of people should start to do is, if you don't do it already, if you trade NASDAQ, watch the S&P. Use those S&P levels to help guide your NASDAQ trades, and vice versa. If you're going to watch the S&Ps, watch NASDAQ, see what it's doing, see what kind of divergences are kind of coming into play. This is the 500 top stocks. This is 100 top stocks that are tech weighted, right? A lot of what's in the NASDAQ is a lot of what's in the S&Ps is in the NASDAQ. So they're going to be very, very similar. That's fine. It's all right. You can do that. So basically, I also feel like I don't have enough room on this. I've gotten so used to, I have a very big, I don't know, this is like 40 something inch monitor, like one of those little curved ones, not the biggest curved one, but not the smallest one. And then I have a side one that I have the stream and stuff on. If I had my monitors that I want, I would probably want one more of this big curved one so I could put my stream stuff on the other side of the curve, and then maybe have the third monitor, or just have the stream stuff on the third monitor and have all charts across the way, so I can have all of my information, my quant tower up on one side and my actual executions and stuff over here. And then I could really set up the stream a little bit cleaner with switching over to showing you where the divergences are and stuff like that without having to jump. But if you are just trading by yourself and you're not streaming and stuff, I don't think it's necessary to have huge, like so many monitors, all that stuff. You could definitely do this on a laptop. You could do it on an iPad. If you have the proper setup, the proper internet, you can do this from anywhere. And the more you simplify your strategy and the less you need on your screens, the better you're going to be. You're probably fine, of course. Absolutely. I need to update some things. Yeah. I mean, you sit in front of a computer all night, so that definitely hurts the eyes a bit. Even if you throw like a small S&P chart, right? If you have what platform are you using, Scott? Using TopStepX? I think I don't know how you can like set these up to be differently. I use the side-by-side for streaming purposes. You could even just go all the way down into like, super small so you can see where it's at. My apartment's calling me. I'll give you a call back. I'll be right back, guys. Give me a second. Hello? What's up, brother? How are you? That's not bad so far. Okay. Okay, great. All right, cool. I appreciate it. Thank you. Well, look at that squeeze, baby. Look at that, Scott. That's a great thing that you didn't take that short. Really, I mean, honestly, just objectively looking at a chart has become good. We do have some storm damage, so we're gonna have some construction people coming by in a few minutes. to take a look at the water spots, and then they're going to let us know. I'll let you know, though. If you hear a knock and I don't hear it, let me know. I see that. I'll probably see it. I'll probably hear it. Yep. I did see this long kind of setting up, and I kind of mentioned it, especially for the way Scott was saying that his MACD and stuff were kind of telling him that he might want to slow down. Really, what I think that MACD kind of shifting towards the red was indicating to you is that price was slowing down at a key area of interest and maybe not necessarily ready to go opposite of what it was doing, right? So I'm not really familiar with exactly what the inputs are for the MACD, but for our just objective observations, right? Everything told me that was a long opportunity from once this failed. So what I do is I'm a failed breakout person, right? It's not that I'm looking to pick bottoms. I'm looking to confirm where price wants to change and move. So when price tends to not give you a good failure and a continuation, it's more likely that it's going to just rotate the other direction. It doesn't say for how long it's going to go that way, but in theory, the way I look at it right here, right? We failed to break out from the overnight high, and we failed it, and we failed it, and we failed it, right? We're not confirming that we're going to break. Each time it gave us a different amount on the other end. Now, finally, we failed to break the previous day high, and now we rotate down all the way through. The opening range is a very key, important. So you want to protect it. So you say, why would you hammer in here? I mean, yes, it broke the high of the day. Is this a confirmed breakout yet? Maybe. I don't know what's indicating. I don't know what would tell me that or not. I say 68 is that first level that's going to be a resistance level, and then 100 is probably another level of it. Yeah, I think that your entry was where you wanted to go short. But once you saw this hold on the S&Ps, this is why I say use your S&Ps to help your NQ trades. You flush the opening range here. When you're here, you can see my dotted line on the S&Ps as well. You're holding that support, right? That trend line, that uptrend right there, that opening range, failed break, rotate back up, and now that we've rotated back up to VWAP, got through VWAP. Same thing happened on S&Ps, confirming flat top break, complete breakout, really nice play there. And this would kind of constitute a failed breakdown, sweep of a low, grab liquidity by trapping shorts, low of the day, trap the shorts, and then rotate back and now push it through high of the day right into my level that I drew up right there, that crude blue line at 20,070. Right, first area where there was going to be a red, a little bit of a red right there at that 2070. It's really 20,068, but it got up over that. It's a zone. So my anticipation was that you can see I drew it right there. That's what this is. That was that first target. Second target is 100, and then that's it. Right. I think potentially now that you've got that clean move up, who knows if that's going to make for a clean breakdown. These are the things that you have to think about as you're watching the charts, as you're kind of getting into trades, out of trades, making thoughts on what you want to do. Have reasons behind this. I didn't just draw this line out of nowhere, this 70. I didn't pick that out of a hat. I used my charts to my advantage, right? So here is my longer term chart. This is the 68 level right here that we ran right into. It was a key level here, and here, and back all the way into this area here. If it breaks out above this, then you're going to get a nice little push and a squeeze. 100 is just psychological. That's why I have it there. There's also some semblance of structure here at 100, up to 120. So, just putting 100 there was just, a roundabout number. It's anywhere from 100, even all the way up into 2. 178 is that next level up above, right? If you squeeze through that. My thought process is we probably get into that 100 and maybe a little bit beyond before we decide to sell off a little bit once we start actually getting the numbers from, later on in the week, right? So once we get those numbers later on in the week, then gap open Sunday. I'm going to give you that. Maybe we rotate down, right? That was my write-up thought. We probably rotate up into that area, and then we can sell from there if we're going to continue to sell. So hopefully that makes sense on why I took, why I have some of these targets and all that. You see price just went straight up from there. We really never took any sort of heat. If you would have bought the bottom on the rotation, I have somebody at the door. I'll be right back. Okay, just show them the stuff. Alrighty, the wife's got it. She'll take care of the house. I will take care of the trading. This, realistically, right here, right now, you look for your divergences. This is a very clean move up. Doesn't mean that it's going to not keep going, but at the same time, we ran into a key level. There's a reason why maybe it potentially gets to pull back a bit. Hopefully you can see the reasoning by, we kind of flattened out here. Not a heavy delta. Price is okay. Still above that upper band of VWAP. It would need to probably accept below that upper band of VWAP before you start to get a good sell-off. So maybe another push, another leg up if it comes down and supports it. So watch that. NVIDIA ran right into highs and now is selling a little bit too. So, I use these levels over and over and over and over again. And until they don't work, then they may get taken off the table. But as of right now, you can see that right there. That's where I was talking about that level. I drew it in right there. And then I drew the same deal here. Right? These are what I, talk about as far as upside target. Just give yourself ideas of where maybe price could get to and start to form hypotheses. Anybody have any questions, comments, concerns on anything that I'm talking about here right now? Anything that anybody may or may not want me to kind of go over on kind of why I picked these areas, why I was, when Scott was mentioning he was really thinking about a short down in this area here around that 19,990 level, and I was mentioning that this price action is really indicative of a long coming in. And what do you know? I mean, immediately once he said he wanted to do a short, you ran up, from 1990 to 2000, almost 100 points, right? If you trade without stops, I mean, I know nobody here is doing that, but that's a great thing. No, not shots fired. I'm just saying, as far as why certain people see one thing and then how price action will take advantage of that on the thing. So it's kind of like just a learning experience on understanding why things do what they do over, right? A lot of people might have been thinking short here in that, we came down, we retested an area, and then we're now going to come back in, right? If you think of it logically, a lot of these consolidation breakdowns come back, retest the breakdown point, which is pretty much right here around that 20,000, and then continue on. So in theory, a lot of people probably look to short this, and that's why it ends up getting squeezed up. So I would never feel bad about thinking that way, because I start to think contrarian a lot. I want to go against the majority because the majority always loses. That's how this game works, right? Most people lose. So the big banks know that. The big players know that. They manipulate the price in directions to get people to want to get into bigger positions that they think that they can get into and start to take their money, take the small little, where are they thinking? If you were a big bank or a larger player and you had to execute let's just call it, you had to execute 100,000 contracts. It's so hard to execute, 10, 20, 30 contracts, let alone thousands of contracts, right? So where do they find that most of the sellers are going to be, right? So if you look at this chart, okay, I'm a big player. I want to get long. I need to get this to get me some money. Where are most people are going to sell me their shares? Because a lot of the retail people, a lot of people that we, like us, they're going to try and play the breakouts. They're going to try and say, oh, if it breaks this level, we're going to go really high. So I'm going to buy here. So they're not able to sell that, right? They're not able to buy there either. Maybe they could buy from some people, but they're not going to get as many orders as they would as if they tricked you to get long. Then you have a stop loss down here. And they hunt the stop loss below the structure, right? So not only do they get the shorts involved, they trap a long, then they stop out the longs, they trap the shorts, and then they manipulate it so you can get the price to get rallied up. That's exactly what happens. I mean, that's not like a fallacy, right? I hope somebody understood what I just said there, right? If you think of this in a big player mindset, you want to accumulate as many contracts as you possibly can to get price to where you want it to go. And if you could start thinking like that, you don't have to think like a big fish, right? You don't have to execute like a big fish, but you want to know what they're trying to do so you can capitalize. Maybe you catch a little piece of this move. Maybe you get some of this move here. Maybe you play the fade because you understand that this setup looks like a long to most traders, so they will get you to trigger in long. They know where they want people to put their stops because they will put them there. And then you sweep the stops, trap some shorts, and rotate long. And now you're long as a big player, and you're better than VWAP, right? That's where they like to execute how good they execute a certain position in relation to VWAP. And that's why VWAP is a target. That's why VWAP is an area where there's a lot of action. So just understand that. Got into a couple of shorts, lost some, won some, back to 13.23 times 2. Alrighty. I like at an area where there's interest, right? There's buyers, no more sellers. Sellers coming in, area of interest. Why did I draw this line here? I don't know. If you want to find out, let me know. Scott, you're still up 1,300 across 2 accounts. If this was a funded account and you made that money and you didn't have like a big buffer, right? If you didn't build up your buffer already, started late again today. Around 9:45 a.m. trading sim for this month. I want to be green on most days to build the confidence and fixing my trading to limit losses up to 4,500 today. 4 contracts max. Even so, if you're going into that 5, if you want to get into a 50K once you get out of this sim test run, you're going to have to limit those contracts much lower. Especially Top Step limits you to 50% consistency rule. So 50% of a day. So you can't make, let's say you want to pass your combine in 2 days. You can't make more than 1,500 per day. So you could easily make 1,500 on a day with 1 to 3 contracts on a nice move. Yeah, so look to try and understand the dynamics and the rules of the combines to use that to your advantage, right? Don't do things that are going to play into their hands, because the more times you do it, the more times you're going to reset, the more times you're going to buy combines, and they're going to make money off of that. Make it so that you understand the rules, leverage the rules to where you know what you're doing, execute, do it the proper way, get funded, and then once you have a buffer, then you can start to scale up and do those things. And I get it. I really get it. I totally understand where you're at.
you'd be done laughing straight to the bank. So why in the combine would you want to rush it? Because when you start to do that, you fall into the trap. You fall into the trap. There is no rush to pass the combine. There's no time limit, right? So why don't do that? Don't pigeonhole yourself to I want to pass today. I literally got to a point where I was close enough to pass with $30 on a trade for a day, and I've lost the account because I said I'm gonna make $30 today, and I fucking blew it. I do it. I swear to you, I've done it. So just don't fall into that trap. Don't fall into that trap. If you made the trades and you executed towards your plan, right? You did what you needed to do, then just pull back. Yeah. I agree with you, Scott. So don't do it. You made $1,500 or $1,300 across 2 accounts. You find yourself clicking buttons into and out of trades that don't necessarily maybe line up with your full strategy. Lock out. Like once you start to do things that are deviating from what you know makes you profitable, then you need to lock out, right? Progress one day at a time. If let's say you make this 1,300 today, right, and you lock out right now, then your trailing drawdown and everything moves up, and all that stuff. You're already past where the trail will trail out with you, but now you've already progressed one more day where if you hit max loss tomorrow, it's not going to burn you out, right? You're gonna still be able to pass the account because you've already secured that. It's secured. It's not going to go away. To like if you were to lose it all today and then go into the loss, right? If you were to go from green to red, then now you're like, oh, screw it, man. I was already all the way up there and it wasn't secured. I didn't get it, right? You have to detach from the money. You got to do it. Detach. It is, like I said, it's about the money. We don't do this for free, right? We're not doing it because it's just a little tiny bit like a game, right? We want to make money. Everybody wants to do this to make money. Once you can detach from the actual dollar amount and the actual goal of passing the account and just execute according to your strategy, execute according to your plan and do it every single day, then eventually you pass. Oh man, I passed. Great. All right. I know you need that goal. I know it's great to have that goal, but the end of the day, right, when you are funded, there's no end goal. There's no like, oh, I need to make $10,000. Oh, I need to make $100,000. No, you want to make as much as you possibly can for as long as you possibly can and, improve things for yourself by doing that. And the only way you can do that, right, because you could oversize and get lucky once, twice, 3 times and pass an account and then immediately you go into it funded. You oversize, you leverage out, and you bang it and you burn it, right? And you draw down pretty quick and you lose it in 2 days, and then that's it. And then what happened? You didn't give yourself the time to establish good habits. You didn't detach from a profit target because everything is giving you these unrealistic goals that don't need to be hit, right? You don't need any of that. That doesn't need to happen. What you need to do is get yourself to a point where I know when this happens, I do this. And then I will do this, and then whatever comes of it, comes of it. And then I will do it again and again and again and again and again and again. And then over the course of time, my winning percentage will be 66%, and that's on the low end. And that if I do what I do every single time, if I win, my average winner is 179 and my average loser is 160. And if I win 66% of the time, that means my profit's going to go up and to the right because my losers are smaller than my winners. And that's it. That's all it is. Over time, over the course of time, you will pay off your house and buy a Durango Hellcat. You will do those things. You will do it. You will do it. You will get those things. But the only way you will get those things is when those things don't mean anything. If that makes any sense. I feel like all these people that are on Instagram, on social media, all these things. Yeah, if I buy a Lambo, I'm going to fucking post a picture of my Lambo if I buy one. Of course, I'm going to fucking post a picture of it. But I'm not going to tell you that it did it because of one trade or anything, right? I have my entire journey documented on Instagram, here on YouTube. I'm live streaming everything on Tradecaster. If you want to learn how to do it, when I get to that point, I'm going to get there where I'm buying things that I want and, giving my kids the life that they deserve and stuff like that. And when I do get there, you'll see it. But also, you could also just scroll back a couple pictures and go back a couple videos and see the days that I'm blowing accounts, see the days that I'm, making $80 on a trade or a day, right? I made $83. I made $46. But how did you buy a Lambo for that, or whatever? It's because you do it every single day. You average this out with the last, week, or this past month, we'll call it 2 weeks worth of trading. You're up 2,000. You can make $1,000 extra a week. And then as you get bigger in the buffer, then you can scale up. And if you keep doing the same process with just one more contract, then everything just gets a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger. And it just scales over time. So you just got to scale over time. There's no end goal. No end goal. So if you think of this in terms of I'm going to win the game, there's an end goal, then you're not going to win the game. You're going to lose. You're definitely not going to win. If you are trying to win the game and you think you know it all, you're going to lose. So that's how this market does people, right? Time and time again, you're going to hear those horror stories over and over again. And obviously most people fail because all they want to do is just get that one lucky trade and be done and move on and just keep, and then they will get that lucky trade. They get that one trade, right? And maybe they leveraged into this. When you said you were going to go short, they said, oh man, I see a really good long here. I'm going to 10 contracts into this, and they make 30 grand on it. And then you're like, I could do that again. And then they do it again. And they lose 10. Then they go, oh, fuck, I can get back. And they lose 10 more. And then they do it again, and they lose 20 more. And then instead of being up 30 grand, they're down 20 because they just gambled on it and didn't have a process, right? It's all, and they're attached to the winning the game mentality instead of enjoying the process, plan, total package. And that's the kind of goal with that, we're out here trying to do. And the more I say it to you, I mean, really, I'm just reminding myself that, right? I could say it to you all till I'm blue in the face, and nobody's really going to take the advice until they really feel that, right? It's just something that you have to get to. And I always heard people saying it, always hear people saying it, but I feel like the more I remind myself, the more I remind you guys, the more I'm going to do it. Yeah, that's right. It is the only legal casino in Texas. Secret Security Director resigns. Oh, no. No more coffee. Here's your little bit of a setup. All right, you go play video games, get that winning mentality out of your head. Come in tomorrow. If you do the same thing you did today, you pass the combine. If you do the same thing you did today, 2 more days, maybe you make half, you still pass the combine. There's no rush. You got this, buddy. I'll see you later. I'll be here tomorrow morning, same time, same place. So anybody signing off, you let me know. I'll be here. Check me out on Instagram at Policing Pips. Check me out at Day Trading Coffee Co. Also on Instagram. Check out our website. Buy some coffee. A portion of all of our future revenues will go to a funding fund, and we'll be giving away combines. We're going to give away cash accounts. As we can do that, we will. All overall, like I said, good day so far today. Yesterday we made our money in 1 minute. Today it took 30 minutes. Poor us making 30-minute moves. But realistically, if we can do that every single day, we'll be very happy. Across all 3 funded accounts, We're up 240. That's 482 plus 500. You're looking at 982, just shy of $1,000 day across the 3 accounts. And we didn't overtrade. We only made a couple shorts here, once, twice, and we took two losers that kind of were a little bit, maybe could have been avoided just by a little bit of a stop, moving our stops. But we made the adjustment, made the money, and got out of it. Realistically speaking, I think we did a really good job today. And I think as a team, everybody made good money. So we should be very grateful for the opportunity to be able to come out here every single day to execute these trades. Be grateful for these funding companies to allow the barrier of entry to be so much lower than it ever has been in the history of trading. So the more you can do all this day in and day out. Thank you, Scott. Best coffee company in the world. I dig it. I appreciate you. As always, no hate, all love for everybody here. Even the haters, when I get some comments randomly here and there, I like those because it means they're watching. It doesn't matter to me what you have to say. Just come out, put your money on the line, and execute. I'm not out here showing you home runs. I'm not out here showing you over leveraging. I'm showing you the power of one contract, managing risk, managing emotions, and sticking to a plan. And then we're going to see how far we can take it. I want to have this green streak be alive for as long as possible. I want to hit off. That would be my goal, is to have a green streak featured on the Top Step TV. You know, get into the 20, 30 days, 40 days straight of green trading. Get into a nice rhythm. And, you know, it doesn't have to be home runs. It could just be those $40 days, $50 days, $100 days. Then we hit the $1,000 days, $2,000 days, right? If I was a long breakout trader and somebody that wasn't, you know, looking to be locked out already, maybe this does turn into a, you know, $1,000, $2,000 trade here. That's a nice little move. And you just kind of continuously build the account up and to the right. We are going to keep that lockout button, keep hammering that lockout button as we see our setups kind of diminishing. Like I said, this time, we shorted all 3 times. I locked out before this 4th time, could have probably executed there. And then I was talking about it as we were approaching it, that was it. That was probably the last time we were going to short this overnight high, and that it was probably going to push up into previous day highs, and then you see what happens from there. Clearly, the next fade was not there until after you get that full manipulation sweep and then go. So just watch out for the traps, watch out for everything, and you'll be just fine. You know, as we talk through things on a day-to-day basis, it kind of just keep it very simple. You'll know when I'm about to get in. You'll know when I'm going to get out because you'll watch me trail. Much of what I do is enter, try to take as little heat as possible, and then limit my risk. And as I move price in my direction, just take my base hits, you know, keep increasing that winning percentage. And then some days you're just going to catch a nice little flush where, you know, price never comes back on you. Like if you kind of trailed this one out, there's very little chance that you would have got stopped out at any point. And, you know, as long as you execute your strategy every time, if that's part of your strategy, then that's one of those winners that kind of move your needle, you know, another leg to the right. And unfortunately, I've started out each day this week, or the last few days, let's call it. Started out red. Yesterday we were just immediately green. Today, first loser, 2 winners. Friday, first loser, 2 winners. First loser, 2 winners. 1 win. Mondays seem to be our good, really good day for us. So I'm going to kind of try and do that again on Monday. You know, not really trying to get it, but it seems to be like if we execute according to our plan on Mondays, tends to be a pretty good day. So going to try and finish off this week very strong. Wednesday, we do have the PMI composite flash, which could give us some nice manipulation, some nice algo movement. Even though it's a 2-star event, you definitely could see some movement off of that number at 8:45. So we'll be cautious on that tomorrow at 8:45. 9 o'clock, you have new home sales. It's going to be very similar to today's existing home sales. It just kind of gave a little bit of a wiggle, and then that was it. I think really that's going to be a non-factor at 9, but it'll still move you around, kind of get you in and out of a trade if you're close or trailed tight. And then as always on Wednesdays, 9:30 a.m., always give you that crude oil EIA number, and that will move crude if you trade crude. Thursday and Friday, you have more red folder events, which will kind of maybe continue our trend day kind of thing. So if you are a Top Step trader and you don't utilize Top Step X, there's some good features that I like to use that kind of keep me away from the tilt, keep me away from the FOMO, and that is the lockout button. You can see right here that I have been locked out since pretty much 9 o'clock, like right around 9 o'clock. I locked out. What this does is it does not allow you to come back in and hammer in a trade. You can't FOMO and you can't. It does not allow you to. Top Step will not reverse this for you. So once you click that button, you can no longer trade for the rest of the day. So really all it does is alleviate that pressure of feeling that you have to make a trade and see something set up later. Oh, price moved, right? Oh, price did this big rally up. Is that part of my strategy? It's not. Price is going to move. Trades are going to happen. You're going to miss things. You're going to see things. You're going to be on when you're on, and you're going to be off when you're off. Don't worry about it. Use that lockout button. Don't feel the FOMO. If you hit an area of, okay, I think I've executed my strategy enough here on this account, go ahead, lock yourself out. Win or lose, keep those losers small. Keep locking in the winners. And then over time, your account will grow. And I think that really eliminates the FOMO. I did it on this 100K as well. We caught this short right here. Made ourselves this one right here. We got to zoom out a little bit to get the VWAP correct. We went right down into VWAP, caught this whole move right there, locked ourselves out for a $500 day there. So like I said, across the 3 accounts, up $1,000. Very clean, very happy with what we got going on. I'm pretty much all but done unless anybody has any questions. Normally I'll stream to 11, but I'm off. Kids are here, happy to hang out with daddy, so we're going to go see if we can do something fun, and I'll get ahead of it now. So it's up to you guys if I stay on. If not, I will see you all tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Central Time. You're welcome, Abby. It's always a pleasure having a good conversation. If you ever need anything, like I said, and I'm not on stream, hit me up at Policing Pips on Instagram, at Day Trading Coffee Co. also on Instagram, Twitter as well. You'll find me around some of the socials. Mainly Instagram is the easiest to DM and all that stuff. So if you need anything, let me know there. Otherwise, I am going to cut out. I appreciate everybody. Keep locking in the green. We have a nice little green streak going. Just going to keep sticking to the plan, sticking to the levels, and make sure you use lockout button, secure your wins when you got them, keep your losses small, and remember, confluence equals confidence, and don't do dumb shit. That's it. I'm going to get out of here. I'll talk to you all tomorrow morning, 8:30 Central, tradecaster.com, YouTube, Day Trading Coffee Company, Policing Pips. Peace out.